In today's video, I'm going to cover exactly as to why you're struggling with running and how you can overcome this struggling mentality that you have to therefore make running much easier, run much faster, and just in turn, just have more enjoyability in running. Right. Now, you see how I've placed all of these different things that are basically making you struggle with running. And I haven't put the last one here. It's more of a mystery because it's one of the important, most critical points in terms of why you're struggling with running. It's the number one. But I'm saving that for later because it's the most important. But these doesn't mean that these other four are less important. These are still important, but there's just a difference between these four and this last one. Right. Now the difference is improper pacing is 5% as the reason why you're struggling. Now wrong gear is 5%, mental barriers is 5%, and no purpose is 5%. Now, so you're probably running, then if all of these are 5%, then what would make this one? I'll tell you. This one is 80%. Now that's a lot. If you're able to conquer this, if you're able to have this as no longer as an issue, then it will become 80% easier to do running. So 80% of the struggle will go away. And obviously these 5%, that's 20%. And if you get everything down, it'll be 100% easier to run. 100% no struggle in running. So, yeah. But when you are running at really quick paces, like I run at a really fast pace, at an elite level almost, these small percentages can make a huge difference. It can be the difference between a good day and a bad day. But when you're almost starting out or you're intermediate, I would say do focus on these. Of course, you need to focus on these to become a better runner, but it's just when you get to elite level, these are more important to maintain, to not have these as barriers and rather positives. That you have the proper pacing, that you have the right gear, that you don't have any mental barriers, and that you have purpose in your running. That's what it is. Now, let's start with number one. Improper pacing. This is one of the reasons as to why you're struggling with running. Now, let me explain it. Most people can't run. Now, you're probably looking at me quite strangely right now. Yes, most people cannot run because running is a skill. Just like any other skill, it needs time to work on your skill to get good at it. And pacing is part of running that you have to work on. So most beginners, when they start running, they have no idea how to pace. They just start to run and they start running at a wrong pace. They're running too fast, and I can always see this. And to my surprise, actually I'm not even surprised at this point, that they burn out and they stop. They get tired. So they have to walk. And then with that break again, they start up, they start running again, and they stop again. Because that's not how you should run. That's what beginners do. That's called improper pacing. Now, I can do a whole video just based on pacing, the right pacing, how to pace. But if I am to put it in the most simple terms as I can put it, the way to get the right pacing is to be able to run at something I call the forever pace. The forever pace is completely unique to you. It depends on who you are, what your training is. It's uniquely to you. It's a pace that you think you can do forever. Well, if you're running at a pace and you're thinking, this pace, I can actually run this forever. I like to call it the forever pace. And it's a real thing. Just find, I'm telling you, if you just find a pace that you can just think about and feel like, oh, I can do this forever, that's your pace. And funnily enough, once you find your forever pace, your body will do the work. You actually end up running faster when you find your forever pace. Yes, it's a thing, trust me. Now, moving on. Wrong gear. I'll tell you why wrong gear is making you struggle with running. Because some people, when they start running, they don't really get the right shoes or the right clothes, and they think, oh, it's not a big deal, I just need to run. But what getting the right running shoes, let me just draw a shoe real quick. When you get the right running shoes, they are designed for running. So this is what you should be using to run. Obviously, they were made for runners to run in. And not only, the thing is, most people have running shoes, so this isn't even much of a problem. But if you're not running in running shoes, I do suggest getting running shoes. And a side note, carbon plated running shoes are straight up just a cheat code. If you have enough money to buy them, I promise you, if you get the carbon plated shoes, running will become like flying. I'm not even lying. It'll feel like walking. It'll be the easiest thing once you get carbon plated shoes. But the bare minimum is to have running shoes. If you're gonna start running, you should have running shoes. It's one of the most basic first things that you should get. Now, something that people do forget about getting is the right running gear. When I talk about running gear, I'm talking about things like that looks like a dress. That doesn't look right. But like a running vest, for example, that is as lightweight as running and is built just in a way to cool you down when you're running. I don't know what that looks like, but it does not look like a running vest. But that makes a huge difference compared to someone running in a football tracksuit and a running vest and running shorts. It's difference in weight, difference in it just makes a huge difference. It will change you from running all sluggish and sweating all over the place to feeling as though you have full fitness. It's that much of a positive, and 100% just make your running much easier. It'll be less of a struggle. The 5%, as I say. Now we've covered 10%. Now if you've decided to get the proper pacing and get the right gear, you've just made your running 10% easier. Boom, just like that. Just by the proper pacing and the right gear. 10% easier. 10% less of a struggle. Just like that. Let's go to the next two. Now, mental barriers. In my opinion, this is much stronger than improper pacing and wrong gear. It's probably one of the strongest ones out here, except for this one. But mental barriers is something that we all need to go through when you're coming to running, and especially when you want to get to the next level. And if you do want to get to the next level, I do have a link down below where you can have a one-on-one coaching with me, where I can straight up just hold your hand through the process of running and you'll be able to run much faster, much quicker, because I know what I'm doing. I can help you get there, but you don't need to. I can just help you through these videos, because these videos are, and you can book a free call with me. That's the one thing. But when I talk about mental barriers, that's something that you need to break through when you're running. That's the thing. These barriers, you need to get through to the next level. Doesn't matter what the issue is. You do have to go through a little bit of pain, but you need to also have the right mental attitude about this. Let me just show you this, right? Now, what I'm drawing here is a brain. This is your brain, for example. This is your brain. This is what it says in it. That says, I can't. If you have limiting beliefs about yourself, if you tell yourself these limiting beliefs, oh, I can't, oh, I'm too tired, I'm feeling too much pain, what happens is your brain interprets that as real. So it will go down to your body and your legs, and it will create that pain that you're talking about, because you almost brush yourself, oh, I'm feeling pain. You may be feeling pain, but this is not helping. What you need to do to stop this especially is to almost delude yourself to, instead of saying I can't, what you should say is I want to. And also what you should say is, this feels easy. You should almost delude yourself that every little bit of pain when it comes to running should be easy. And what happens is your body adapts to your thinking, to your mental. I promise you, this is working system. Whenever I feel pain in a run, I just tell myself that this is easy, this is fine, this is light work. And what happens is the running becomes easier. So delude yourself in your running and you will find it much easier. Now, things when it comes to mental barriers, there's so much I can cover. Please do comment down below if you do want me to talk about mental barriers, especially. There's just so much to cover. And now number 4 is running without purpose. Now, why would you be running without purpose? Well, sometimes some people do. I don't know how, I don't know why. Well, and the thing is, when you run without purpose, after a couple of weeks of running, you'll sort of just stop running and just think, why am I doing this? why am I enduring all this pain? What benefit do I gain from this? And that's what happens when you run with no purpose. You lose the motivation, you lose the willpower. So that's why when you go running, you should set a purpose. Now, my purpose was mental. I ran for my mental health because it made me feel good after every run, which is what I like to call the runner's high, which is what you get after everyone run. Everyone knows this. And that's what I really liked. I really liked this runner's high. It made me feel good. It made me feel confident for weeks because I ran every single day. It made me feel confident in something that I did. I can walk around talking to all my friends with just so much this air of confidence because I just know I'm a runner. I do something. I have this purpose that I'm working on. I'm working on my running. I'm training every day. This is what I do. And that just equates to just having all that confidence. And also when you have purpose, then you just do more running. You just have that motivation. So do get purpose. Find that purpose. If it could not even be just mental, it could be you want to run faster, or you want to impress someone, or just have some purpose. Or even let's say you need to train for a half marathon or marathon or 5k or 10k. That's your purpose. And then you just run more. And running will be, instead of a struggle, it will just be much easier because there's something that you're struggling for a reason at least. See what I mean? Right. Now that I've covered those last two, well, it's not really last two, but that if you are to be able to get through mental barriers and have a purpose in running, that's another 10% easier for your running. Now, for the last reason and the most important to make sure that your running is no longer struggling in your running. This alone will make running so much easier. Now, this thing that I've been stopping from showing you guys is, let me just, wait, it's so important. Now, the one thing that will make, out of better than everything else, that will make you stop struggling with your running is by making it enjoyable. Boom, that's it. If you're able to make running enjoyable, make running into something you love, then you will no longer struggle with running because you love it. How can you do something that you hate? How can you enjoy something? How can you constantly get better at something that you hate? Most people get good at things that they like, right? Let's say gamers. They didn't start out and hate it. At first, they loved it and they just kept playing over and over because they were addicted to it almost, because it was enjoyable, and that's how they got better at it. So the only way to stop struggling with your running is by making it enjoyable. Now you're probably asking me, well, sounds good, make running enjoyable. But then you're probably asking, but how? Well, I've got the answers for you. The ways in which to make running enjoyable are, number one, by making it social. Get a running buddy. Get someone that you can do running with. And I promise you'll just enjoy it tenfold. If you get your friend to do running with you, both of you are making progress. It won't even feel like a struggle because at least both of you are struggling at the same time, but you're still enjoying yourself. You're running. Oh, I'm hurting too. Oh, funny. And another thing that making it social is the fact that you can make it accountable. You can call up your friend or friends or group of friends or even a running club. You can call them up and say, oh, let's do a run on this day. And your friends, oh, I don't really feel like it. But they're insistent in doing that run. What eventually happens is your friend, because especially if you have good friends, they will always come, even when they don't like to. And that will make the other person run more. And then vice versa if the other person wants to run. So you make each other accountable and you run together. You're in a struggle together. And I've had the best laughs running with my friends. In fact, nowadays, I don't even run on my own anymore. Most of my runs are with my friends. And those don't even feel like runs. I'm gonna be honest. It just doesn't. It just feels like a fun day out in the park where you just run a couple kilometers, run 10k, 12k, 5k, whatever. I don't feel it. I never feel the pain when I'm running with my friends. But only when I'm running on my own. It's just a really strange phenomenon. And that's what makes it enjoyable. That's why I don't struggle on those days when I run with friends or even in a running club. So that's number one, social. Now, another way in which to make running much more enjoyable, make it into something I love, is to, boom, once I removed the pressure of running certain times, kilometers or minutes, that's when I started to accelerate my running. It's funny that I started running faster because I removed all the pressure. It was even to the point where I'd even run with my running watch. I would straight up just go outside and run. I'll go to park run and just run a 5k because I had that, didn't I? I had that purpose. I was running for my mental health, not for numbers and things. But at a point, my dad's friends did get annoyed the fact that I didn't run and didn't record it. So I did eventually have to get a watch and things. But I didn't need one because all I did was I removed the pressure and I got my purpose right. And when you remove the pressure, you're running for reasons that most people don't run for. People run for, I need to get this minute. What happens? If I don't get this minute, I need to run for 20k. If I don't do it. And the thing is, using too much energy from your mind into getting expectations. If you're always trying to get an expectation, if you don't hit that expectation, then you feel wrong, you feel worse about yourself. And once you hit that expectation, it was an expectation, so it was just something that was supposed to happen. So it just isn't as rewarding. So if you just run without any pressure, it's so rewarding because you don't have any expectations. You don't have to expect something. You're just running for the sake of running. That's what happens when you remove the pressure. And this one, for me, it hits deep because that's what I did. And it really helped me in terms of loving running. And took all the struggle away. Now another thing, I've got 2 more things that will really just make running enjoyable. Another one, this is what happens when I started to run consistently. What I did was, number 3, I did start small. As in, I started to run outside, but just for a couple minutes each time. Just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, every single day. I talk about this a lot. The 1k a day, I always talk about it. I talk about it almost all of my videos when I say 1k a day because it's so important. Because what it does when you start small is you create that habit, especially consistently. When you start small consistently, it builds that habit, it builds that craving that your body has. After 2 weeks, you'll wake up and just automatically want to go run. You only need to remind yourself. And that's why by starting small, I just realized that says started, but it doesn't matter. By starting small in terms of your running, what happens is you'll build it up. Now, when it comes to running, does not look like this. You don't start running and then you start improving like crazy. That's just not how it works. Because if you are to do this, what actually happens is this. As quickly as you went up will be as quickly as you go down, because this is just not how you run. How running actually starts is it's more like this. It starts a little bit small, but what happens is it grows like that. It's an exponential growth. And the only reason as to why this growth has happened so rapidly is because of the foundation that you built over here. This is all the hard work. You started small here and you started improving it a little bit and the progress started to go up. And then all this hard work, eventually it pays off with this exponential growth. Now that's what happens when starting small. And that also helps with making running enjoyable because it's no longer as hard as running to run 5k, 10k, this. You just start off with 1k. It's just an easy little win. You should always take these small wins. And now number 4. Now this is one of the last things that will help you with your running. Especially making it enjoyable. Now that is creating, let's write it. It would be creating a reward system. Now what do I mean by this? A reward system is basically rewarding yourself for running. So what I used to do was I would create a playlist, as in a music playlist, to listen to whilst I was running, depending on the mood I was feeling that day and how I really like my music. Other people probably like an ebook or a podcast to listen to, and that just made me want to go out and run more, and it just made my running just enjoyable. I loved it. In fact, the running, it even turned into a run. It turned more into my music listening session. Instead of going for a run today, I'm just going to go for a music listening session. Or there's other reward systems, like even when it also comes to running with less pressure, because you could go out to run in new different terrains, in different areas, running for the sunset, chasing the sunset, or you can have your own little reward system. And this is one of the reasons and this is actually one of the ways to love running. Now, and you can also go to coffee shops after, or restaurants, to buy a snack for yourself after you do a run, just to reward yourself. But now let's get to the conclusion. Now, when it comes to the conclusion, when it comes to struggling with running, there's a lot to talk about, and I've only covered just a small part about struggling with running. Now, when you follow these suggestions, running gradually shifts from something you force yourself to do into something your body craves. Now, after a couple of weeks, you'll find yourself wanting to run just like that. You just want to run just all the time. Now, the struggle won't completely just fade away. Elite runners, even me, we all go through struggle, but that's just part of running. That's just part of life. You'll always have to go through a particular struggle when it comes to running. Now remember, if running does feel like a constant punishment, then something does need to change. Now, running should add to your life, but not detract from it. Now, that's the conclusion, and that's all I've got to talk about today. But if you do really want to help with all types of running, if you don't want to improve your times and things, and if you really want to have complete full help to transform your running from what it is now to just greater heights, then please do book a free call down below, where I do have coaching that I teach my clients how to run, and I've got a couple clients who have been successful with their running, and we can just talk and see if it's a good fit. And other than that, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. It has been a bit of a longer one. Please do comment if you're unsure about a couple things. Do comment other things, such as other topics I should talk about. If you have some personal struggles in terms of running, do comment. Please do like the video, and also do subscribe to see more content like this. Helps me in the algorithm, helps me to get other people to get into running and help with running. And that's all I do here. I give free advice to help people with running. Catch you in the next one. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button right here and watch another one of my videos right here.